Hey everybody, this is Richard, and today I'll be talking about a day trade that we had on the 27th of July. It was actually a really good trade. It came out, it occurred on the day that the Fed was making one of their announcements. And basically the way it happened is we went long in the morning, as we do many times with the day trade. We bought just about 18 minutes after the equity markets opened. And you can see here the little blue arrow, that shows where we bought. And then what happens is it buys and it sends out the stop. That's what that salmon colored line is. But I want to emphasize, this is all done automatically by the auto execution broker. So you don't have TradeStation loaded. You don't monitor the trades on your own. It actually just trades automatically for you under what's called a letter of direction. Now, before I get too far along, I do want to go over the risk disclosure. Keep in mind that trading futures does involve substantial risk of loss. It's not appropriate for all investors. And of course, past performance is not indicative of future performance. So keep that all in mind as you look at the trade that occurred. Now, as I mentioned, we bought just after the market opened when you had this big gap up. Our fill on the buy was actually around 3969.5, so we bought in close to 3970, and we held really through the entire day until one of the high profit triggers occurred. And when that occurred, we exited at 4021.75. This was a great gain of about 52.25 S&P points, and of course each point is worth $50, and so that makes the total gain $2,612. Now, we trade on a $15,000 unit size. All that means is that for every $15,000 in the account, you would have traded one of those contracts. And again, each contract made about $2,612. So the return on a percent basis is 17.4%. And the way I get that is you take the gain, the 2,612, and divide it by the 15,000, and that's how I get the 17.4%. So as this trade demonstrates, and as you could see really in real time as it occurred, or at least the screen recording as it occurred, I should say, this was a real trade that we had, and it ended up being a really good day for us because of that. The other thing is on TradeStation over on the left, you would have seen the green. That just shows the dollar gain throughout the day as the trade occurred. The other thing I'll mention is that we also had bullish put spreads that expired today, or on the 27th as well, and those were also profitable. So all in all, the day for us yesterday, or the 27th, was pretty incredible. It was actually over a 20% gain when you factor in the put spreads that we bought. Now, one nice thing about doing these videos is I can show you things with the benefit of hindsight. Notice how the algorithm was actually up a bit on that trade, but then it had a pretty sharp sell-off that occurred for about a minute. And the next couple minutes, the market sort of drifted lower again. And look how close it got to our stop. Right now, it's a couple $100 from the stop, but in a second here, you'll see it get within about $100 of the stop. So this is the kind of thing that can be very nerve-wracking, but I always encourage you to just let the algorithm run, let it do its thing, and see what the algorithm can do. Because remember, the algorithm is placing the trades based on hundreds of hours of simulation, on multiple years of live trades or walk forward trades with the day trade long and the day trade short, and even with the put spreads as well, going back to March 2020. So so keep that in mind as the algorithm trades. It's always best to just let it run and let it do its thing. It's not always easy to watch, but as this trade shows, it did the right thing. It had a tight stop. We were only risking about $350 on the trade, but we had the potential to make quite a bit on the trade as we did today, again, making over $2,000. So it's a great trade. This day trade long is one of the best algorithms we have. In fact, it probably is the best if you look at it as far as when it was developed, how long it's traded live, and how consistently well it's done. But of course, I want to balance that with the risk. The past performance is not indicative of the future performance, but it does give us an idea of what at least the algorithm did in the past, and one might say that what could be some of the potential moving forward as well. But it's not a guaranteed thing. So all I've done now is I've sped up the speed quite a bit so that we can get to the end of the day. But this was the day that the Fed was going to make their policy announcement, and everyone was expecting the market or the Fed to raise rates. And at about 12 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Eastern, which is 12 o'clock Mountain Standard, is when the announcement comes. And you can see on the bottom the minute candle. Right now it's at about 10 hours and 50, so 10:50, meaning that there's about another hour and 10 minutes to go before the announcement. Now there's about an hour, so you can see though that the market started selling off again. We were up a decent amount, but now we're only up about $300. And this is the kind of point where it can be very tempting to just exit early, thinking that the announcement's going to come, the market's going to sell off. But we just let the algorithm run, let it do its thing. And you'll see here shortly what happens when the Fed makes their announcement. And so we go from being about $400 up to, you'll see a pretty big spike here once they make the announcement. So there it goes. You see the announcement. Notice how now the S&P really rallied pretty strongly. Then it sells off again. Again, it can be, this is the advantage of an automated trading system though, is that you really are able to just let it run. You're able to let the algorithm control the trade, and you don't have to worry about anything except really just letting it run. And so you'll see here that it gets another pop, and then finally, I believe as the Fed chairman was talking more, the market decided to rally. And so fortunately we caught this trade and did really well on it. You'll see it exit here in a second. And when it does, that really is kind of the end of it. We ended up getting out with a very solid gain of, like I said, about 17.4%. I mean, I know it might not seem like it's a huge gain when you look at the chart, but on the S&P futures, I mean, each point move is $50, and so it really was a pretty big day for us. And what I always tell my clients and customers is that we let the algorithms run, we let them do their thing, and we're really just waiting on a few select trades to occur any given week, and this was one of them. Well, thank you so much for watching. I think that's about all I had for today. If you have any questions or would like to have a demo of any kind, feel free to reach out, fill out one of the forms on the website. You can also call the number on the screen. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Just remember, past performance is not indicative of future performance, and trading futures, it does involve substantial risk of loss. It's definitely not for everyone. But if you're looking for a fully automated trading system, a way to kind of finally put your emotions to bed, you could say, and lay them down, then an automated trading system could be the way to do that, because it does trade, it's fully automated, there's no experience required. And as this trade showed, it can have some really good days. Now, yeah, for sure, I'm just showing you a winning trade here. If the market would have sold off, we would have taken about a $400 loss on that trade. And you saw the stop. That's how big the stop is on the day trades. So we're looking at losing $400 on the long day trade, or losing $500 on the short day trade. The put spreads, you can lose a little bit more, but it's also a contained loss. So it's the most you can lose on those is the spread width, which tends to be about $1,200 if we're wrong. But again, on this day, we were right on not only the day trade, but a put spread, because of, since the market closed so much higher, that spread trade ended up fully profitable for us as well. But thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Bye.